To activate the mobility solution on MobiCall, start by opening the setup wizard from the desktop. On the left side, change to Interface Settings. Here can be found the checkbox 3G and Windows Client Server, to send alarms and tasks to client application by activating a new settings folder will open on the left side. Press on Apply and change to the Phone App Settings folder. Here can be defined how the mobility solution should work. First is to activate the NVIP gateway. The NVIP gateway manages the connection between the application and MobiCall, so the device is connecting to the NVIP gateway on port 8011, and the NVIP gateway is connected to the NVIP server on port 4000. With the first checkbox can be defined if the IP gateway should run local on the MobiCall, so the client can only connect when there is a connection to the local MobiCall system. With the second checkbox can be defined that the NVIP gateway runs on a remote server. With this the clients also can connect to a server which stands in the public network and is connected to the internal MobiCall server via port 4000. Port 4000 must be open between both servers. With the next checkbox is defined that MobiCall sends an SMS with the alarm message to the mobile phone if the delivery via application fails. For this, the client identification must be the phone number. When the checkbox is defined, MobiCall tries to call the phone on an application error and plays a special voice message when answered. With the next checkbox is defined not to call or send a message to the device, an alternative phone type can be given in this person. With below checkbox on error when sending message to the client, execute again with new phone type active, can be defined on which alternative type SMS or GSM MobiCall tries to process the alarm. Below checkbox is active by default. If this checkbox is set, MobiCall cancels not confirmed alarms on the app if the needed amount of confirmations for an alarm is reached. When the settings are made as needed, press on Apply followed by OK at the bottom of the page. Now MobiCall added the NVIP server to the AutoStart. Depending on the settings made, it also adds the NVIP gateway to the AutoStart settings. Open up the NewVoice line monitor from the desktop. In the left top corner, select System followed by a click on AutoStart. Here can be found the NVIP server.exe and the NVIP gateway.exe. Start the programs by selecting them and press on Start at the right side. When both programs are started, open up the NewVoice interface monitor from the desktop and check if the IP server is connected to the IP gateway. When everything looks as shown here in the video, then the mobility solution has set up correctly. Now to connect your devices, a person for every device needs to be created, then start up the NewVoice Personnel Editor from the desktop. Now add a new person and choose the type for person 3G+. As soon as you click on the button Create Database, you can try to log in with the now existing device. Open up the application on your smartphone or Windows PC and try to connect your device. When it is connected, you should see the login in the interface monitor. Also, if the login got rejected, you can see in the interface monitor why. Now that the device is connected, add the person to a group. Then add the group to an alarm and launch it, to see if you receive the message. If the message is received, then everything is set up correctly. Be careful with iOS devices. Apple automatically blocks all network connection when an app enters the background. Since the network communication is cut, alarms will not be received anymore. For this, it is possible to use the push notification server from Apple. It must be sure that this is reachable. For more information, contact NewVoice support. In the alarm configuration, there is a new folder also for this. Create a new alarm or open up an already existing one via double-click. Here can be defined what should happen on the client in case of this alarm. The ringtone can be set up by default at the beginning. It is app ringtone 8, and several ringtones are possible to be defined. With the second step, we can define which theme can be shown on the client. This is only possible with the Windows client. With the third step, we can define the alarm times of the client. Here can be set how long the alarm should be active, how long it should call, and if the vibration is active or not. With the fields below can be defined as a message template for the client. With this can be combined static and dynamic messages. With the last option can be files added to be sent with this alarm, for example, a picture of the place of emergency or a PDF file or something. When further information for the mobility solution is needed, contact NewVoice support. Now will be shown how to set up the application on an iPhone. After installation, start up the application. On first startup, the app will ask to use the location data and to send messages to the phone. Define the settings you want to give. It is recommended to give both data, since GPS is needed for localization and messages and very important to receive alarms. When done, you are on the start page of the application. Here are 3 possible options. First is the option info. When pressing the application will swipe to the next page, and here can be read what MobiCall is for. By pressing on about, it will slide to the last page to show information about the current installed MobiCall application. With the button Setup Client, the information page will disappear and you will see the configuration page of the application. First is to enter the password, 1111 by default, and can be changed afterwards to not let the user do modifications on the settings. Now on the connection page can be set up the connection to your MobiCall system. Also multiple systems can be added here, but it is only possible to connect to one server at the same time. With the field username can be given the username for the web login. With the field user password can be given the password for the web login. The field client identification is necessary. With this information the client tries to connect to the MobiCall server. It is recommended to use the phone number, since MobiCall can make a call or send an SMS to the device on the fill of the application. With the button settings, password can be given a new password for this device. Now click on the button Add Server on the bottom of the page to define the first server for this user. First enter a name of the server in the first field, to know which server this connection is for. Second is to enter the host. Here can be given the IP address of the DNS name of this system, must be reachable from the client. Port needs to be defined on iOS, by default it is the port 8011. With the slider below can be set if you want to use the MobiCall internal SIP client. With the next slider below can be shown compatibility options. With the last slide can be activated to use a second server. When there is a redundancy and the master server should fail to connect, the client tries to connect on the second server. When done, press on Save in the right top corner. Now activate the slider from your currently added server and activate the first slider of the page Connect. When active, the application tries to connect to the MobiCall server. Now that the client is set up properly, start with setting up the mobility solution on MobiCall. First will be shown how to set up the application on an Android smartphone. On the first startup of the application it will tell you that there are some rights needed for the application to run properly. Give the rights to the application as needed. Now you can see the About page of the application. Press on Next at the right bottom corner to go through the pages until you are at the last page where you can find the button Start. Now press this button to start the configuration. Now can be chosen if you want to have the configuration from a QR code or if you want to set up manually. For the QR code, check the documentation or ask NewVoice support. Press the button Configure manually to start the configuration. First is to fill out the server information. Fill in the IP address of the MobiCall server where you connect to and keep the port on 8011, except another port is needed, then it must be changed on MobiCall side also. Check the box when TLS should be used for the connection. After entering the credentials, press on Save. On the next page fill in the client identification. It is recommended to use the phone number, since MobiCall can send an SMS or make a call when alerting via app should fail. Fill in your username and password for the MobiCall web below, to log into the web via the client. Finish your settings by pressing the Save button. The application afterwards tries to connect to the MobiCall server. What will fail in this step since the mobility solution is not set up on MobiCall yet?